Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Deceptilab, and welcome to my weekly live stream, where you know how we do. We just talk about a bunch of different topics. Um, so today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. We're going to look at the endurance bots that are going to be coming to the game in a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about full tilt if you're on the con side. We're going to be talking about Brawn if you are on the Autobot side. And we can talk a little bit about what's going on in playtest because right now we're looking at HQ18 Phase 2. And just going to give some of my thoughts about that. And I also want to give my thoughts about the upcoming 5-star bot vote that's going to be happening soon. So I just want to give you my opinion about it. We had a long conversation about it in my Discord server yesterday. Lots of different opinions, but and honestly, we had a lot of conversations about influence and how like some of the content creators, a lot of people will follow their picks and stuff like that. So I'll tell you what my pick is later stream. But before we do any of that, let's go take a look at this week's event and this week's news. And I totally messed up my I totally messed up my background. Second. That. So the reason why I'm gonna have a lot of stuff screwed up this go around. I'm actually in the middle of a transition between I was using the program to mirror my stuff. I'm still using that program to mirror my stuff. But it was the apes are getting me to transition over to BlueStacks, and it's not quite ready yet, but so hopefully that'll help the quality a little bit. So yeah, it's like I had to adjust a lot of my stuff to accommodate BlueStacks, but hopefully it'll work better. I can stop using that wireless mouse or whatever. I can use my regular mouse, and I can just come up there and just play. It should be a good time. All this said and done, I just got to go get recovery codes for playtest account. So obviously, if I'm going to talk about the new bot, I don't have that today, but it is what it is. We gonna make it right. We've been making it right. So this weekend's event is called Command Performance. Week 5 of the saga. So we've passed the first half of the saga. Uh, Space Apes talking a little bit about last week's event. They want to try to do more events like they did for the combat event last week. I wasn't able to complete this one. I had a lot of stuff going on over the week, but I did pretty good. I did about 25K out of the 50K for last week. I still got some chips that I gotta open, so we'll see. I didn't get the 4-star yet for the combat, so maybe if we get some time, we'll go take a look at that today. But other than that, this weekend's event is going to be another individual totalizer, and it's going to be overall points. So cool part about this one, and I like when they do individual events like this, is that it's starting off with roughly around 10K for you to get the main prizes, and all the way up to 35K you can start getting that additional stuff. So I like that because in particular you got 5,000 prime core shards on the line. I won't get a defensive prime core this time around. However, 5,000 and take a big chunk out of what I need for the next set of prime core shards. So I'm looking forward to that. You also got 2.5K 4-star shards, 7.5K 3-star shards, and 30K premium crystal shards. Really looking forward to those 30K premium crystal shards. 1G metal, 10 gold power cores, which will really help you out a lot. Like last time I was on the stream, I was talking about how you had the core converters now, and so now these gold power cores have a lot more value than they once did. And so I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the 6 times 500K Troop XP items. It's going to be a War for Cybertron skin core. I don't really care too much about that because At this point, they're all duplicates. And 300k combiner spark, which I know some people are going to be mad at, but I'm still working through some of my combiners. I could definitely use 300k combiner spark. So it looks to be a good individual event. Here you can actually see price charts. So yeah, looking pretty good. Typical battle zones. And of course, with the update tomorrow, there's gonna be a new Cyber Pass, season 13 of the Cyber Pass. So it's like going on a while for a little bit. And I mean, it's pretty general up there. You're gonna get build and skip. That's the key thing for me. I think is it's gonna be another build and skip. Uh, I have my own strategy that I've been using, and so I decided to use skips on my outpost bots. Also, and that for what I'm trying to do, it took away the skips that I would have used on my MDS. So I'll be one MDS that I can skip. So I'm hoarding a couple of my skips from the Cyber Pass. And yeah, that's my key thing. Ability skip. I'm always looking forward to. So I kind of look forward to the battle boost that you get in there too. So yeah, that's a conversation for another time though. Because I really want to talk to you guys about battle boost. And I've talked about it before, but I was like, I don't think everybody's getting the message. So I want to talk about it again in detail. So we'll cross that bridge when we. So like we already mentioned, Brawn and Full Tilt are going to be the bots for the endurance event. They also I skipped past the part where they were talking about season 13. The skins are going to be for Wheeljack and Flame War. So pretty cool looking skins for both times. Most of you guys talk to me in Discord. You know that I usually favor the Autobot skins. I was like, man, I get kind of jealous of the Autobot skins at times because they look so good the majority of the time. But I think Wheeljack does look awesome. But I think this time they're pretty even. I ain't got a problem with Brawn in Full Tilt. This newsletter starts talking about the ability, and the ability is going to fire a single target EMP rocket that disables your opponent for 10 seconds, so good duration. And it says the enemy was already stunned by EMP effect. You're going to overcharge it and implode. It's going to receive a percentage of damage. Let me tell you, we'll look at it in a little bit. That damage is pretty significant, and yeah, let's talk about it because it's gonna be all right. Now, a lot of times with these new bots, you're starting to get your G1 cores. So the G1 core is gonna actually have every 8 seconds uh you're gonna throw EMP grenades, and it's gonna disable targets for a total of 4 seconds. And additionally, it's gonna increase normal attack by 14.5% if you have the level 20 G metal. So definitely a good concept, something that I liked. It started out. It started out a lot of the testers didn't necessarily like it so much because it started out as just a grenade. It's like, hey man, you're gonna have an EMP grenade. I'll be honest with you, I was kind of happy with it. I said, hey man, EMP grenade, you're doubling down on its ability. You might be able to use that EMP grenade to use the ability itself, and I was satisfied with it. But most of the playtesters wanted more, and we got more, and so I'm happy with how we got it. I need to work on my negotiating tactics because I look at a bot and I say, yeah, man, I'm really really happy with that. And the playtest is like, no, we can get more out of this, and some of the more experienced testers, they said we can get more, and that's what they did in this case. So shout out to them for getting. Don't praise me for this one. I was the one that was happy with how it first came out. So ability 11. So you're gonna see the range. What I'll probably do, because I already gave full tilt ability 11, when I go into it on the stream, what I'll actually do is I'll probably show Brawn so you can see the range, and then I'll go into full tilt so you can see the ability 11 range. But at 30% increase, it's really really good, man. It can reach a lot of stuff, man. Like I was impressed with the original range, and then they gave it the ability 11 range. Now it's like, this is what you want, you know, and so yeah, I'm definitely excited about that. A lot of you guys probably already seen it already, but Sunstreaker was, who I think I saw in the chat earlier, he did his exclusive, just talking about his first thoughts on the bot. And so if you go into the newsletter, click on that link. It's from one of his live streams. Very, very informative. He does what he does. He's one of the best at this content creating and stuff. Yeah, take a look at that video in the newsletter as well. And the big news for this week, 5-Star Batch is having another community vote. And the thing is the first, we just had 5-Star Batch. Space 8 promised us that we were going to start seeing 5 stars more often. And so far, their 5-star, their commitment to that is proven true. And so what they did is they looked at the top 20 vote getters from last time, a couple of months ago, and they're saying that tomorrow, Thursday, the 2nd of March, we're going to be able to vote on these bots. So later on in the stream, I'll start talking about how I feel about the bots from this list. So for our community vote. As always, please, please, please support your official content creators and your unofficial content creators. I'll give them a couple of shout outs for those because a lot of them are in my chat right now. But as far as the official ones, Engineer Hoist, myself, Soldier, and Sunstreak Kawaza, as I mentioned earlier, some of the best in the game at this content creating stuff. So make sure that you go give their channels a like and a subscription haven't already, which I'm sure most of you have, because usually when I go to their streams, I see you guys in there chatting. Community corner, you got some pretty cool artwork this time. I'm really digging that Cyclone picture there. Alpha Bravo, and then you get the Saga schedule, which this time, we got another individual event. I think we're going to start seeing some of those a little bit more, and you're going to start seeing them longer. And I messed up earlier when I was saying it was like about 10K. It's going to be like 15K to get the main prizes, plus the 20K to get all the additional stuff, which I'll be honest with you. If I got the time for it this weekend, I'm probably going to try to push as hard as I can, probably get closer to that 35K. Start looking at more combat shards and an actual alliance totalizer this time. Excuse me, combat shards, and then you're gonna go into a prime core shard. And I kind of like how they made that up, because a lot of people aren't gonna go push hard on these individual events. Typically, I don't, but I say I will definitely push hard for my teammates in these events. And they're really small. They got a 750K, 500K. Looking forward to that. And of course, every saga ends with an endurance event. In this case, we're going to be fighting for Brawn and full tilt. That's what we got. Some bug fixes. So it's not really any bug fixes right now. They're still investigating Sidetrack and Growl. They're still investigating the minions that are getting stuck within the battle. They're still investigating Twin Twists and Quellagon, who are going to be having range that is extending way too far. And yeah. And that is the news for this week. Apes will be back on their live stream on the 16th this month. Yeah, that's what we get. So before we get it go any further, let's take a look in the chat, see who's in there. And I see that, and I always play the joke on some of these guys because some guys just love to come in there and be first. So I was actually first into my own chat this time, but realistically speaking, Lord Avix was first in the chat. Professional Husky, and he's got like a new. He's in the middle of a rebrand right now. He's another one of my YouTubers, one of my favorite YouTubers actually, and he changed his brand to Professional Husky Gaming. So welcome, Mercenary Terror, another YouTuber. Is really good. One of my favorites. Um, he's in here, and he's also one of my moderators. Kill Cannon, as I already mentioned. Sunstreak Awaza. See, Chris Harmon, one of my good friends, is in the chat as well. So thanks for coming. Alpha Triumph One, who's one of my regulars. He's joined as well. Let's see, Robert Jettison Wade, another one of our regulars is in here. So thanks for joining. Let me see if we got any lurkers in here right now. And say, yeah, it looks like everybody that's actually involved has actually been chatting. So thank you guys for joining as always. And we want to start talking about bots. So let's go to the battle quick. All right, so we got new endurance bots we want to talk about. I'm gonna go to the Autobot side first. I want to talk. Gotta do it by star rating. That's what my problem is. So probably, yeah. There we go. There goes Brawn. And like I was saying, I think on the last stream we were talking about how Brawn, they had a really messed up color scheme for a little bit. They kind of fixed it. I think he looks really cool. He's one of my favorite Autobots in the lore. So I was definitely happy to see them do the rework for him. Looks really good. And so what I'll do now is I'll jump out of the screen for a second because I'm gonna go into the battlefield. I'm gonna show you guys. I just want to show you guys the range on him because I got the range on him a little bit shorter because I didn't do the ability 11 for him. See how it looks. All right, so we will go switch this team to Autobots real quick. We're gonna stick Brawn in there. We'll stick another bot in there. We'll stick like Roadbuster in there, something, just so we can actually see Brawn's range. And with full tilt, you'll get to actually see that as well. We'll get to see the ability 11 range, and then we'll talk a little bit more about. Let me see if I can change my. All right, so we can go on a real low level base here, and we'll just click on the ability real quick. And so as you can see, that range is already really good. It's a really good. I see some questions in the chat. They say, what class is he? He's a special class bot. And we'll talk about that a little bit too, because that special class bot, it changes some things when it comes to your power core selection. You can't use your enhanced ordnance. You can't use some of these things, some of these things that we're used to using. So we'll actually talk about his ability a little bit too. But yeah, pretty cool bot. The range that we have for him so far, not too bad. Man, like the people in the chat are really like antsy today. I already got a request to put Creator Maker on full tilt if I can. I definitely will do that. Just because, well, I'm gonna walk you through the process of what we did in playtest and why that Creator Maker is actually so important to me on full tilt or some other ranged combat bot. So we'll do that right now, Husky. We will do that right now. So let's go in there and first let's load full tilt onto our team. And then we want to take a look at some stats. Yeesh. So we get full tilt. We're gonna throw. I want to throw at least another electrical bot up here, and I'll tell you why in a second. Because, oh man, I did not cut off my do not disturb. Let me do that. I will have to call mom back. All right, so let's take a look at full tilt and his special ability. All right. Well, I should take a look at full tilt too. So, Husky, you can already see I've already got Crater Maker out there with him. And, you know, pretty cool looking bot. Like I was mentioning before, he was a chest plate for Decepticon. Looks pretty cool. Like I said, I like him. I'm going to zoom in on him a little bit. Not that bad, but that's not what we're here for. We want to talk about stats. And so I'm gonna jump back into the screen too while we talk about stats here in a second. But for all you guys who want to go get screenshots or whatever, that's what the stats look like. I just kind of threw stuff up there. Don't hold me to the vector prime thing or anything like that. I just stuck something up there while I was using it on a particular team. And so I stuck that 5-star Crater Maker on him. And I'll tell you why. Because when we first started testing him, Full Tilt has a lot of the characteristics of a scout. And as you know, those scouts, they get the back flipping, they get the rushing ahead. And so one of the complaints that we had in playtest was, hey man, you guys need to put him in a position where he's not rushing into danger. Because when you look at his stats are his damage isn't incredibly high for his normal ability. His health is okay. It's not, you're not screaming from the rooftops about his health. But his ability, I think, is what really sells him. So it's called Capacitor Burst. And it says here, so this is the maxed out version of Full Tilt 5-star, ability 11, fire a single target EMP rocket that disables for 10 seconds. If the enemy was already stunned by any EMP effect, that's going to be important, any EMP effect, because it could be, and I was thinking about it as I was going to stream, it could be something like a combat bot, it could be just a normal ability, you know, that a bot uses. I'm thinking about like a scavenger or a rust dust that has their natural ability stuns. And you can use this to get an effect that's going to give you up to 13k, 13047 to be exact, in damage. And so for all you damage, your DPS junkies, this is what we're looking at. I'm actually going to pull Crater Maker off first because I want you to see how the bot behaves without combat bot, so you can understand why this is so important. We will run a quick test of, since I got them all powerful, all stout. So we'll just run 2 bots for right now for the test. We'll run him with Fellbat. Go ahead. Take a look. All right, so it's a couple ways you can go in there and use this. You can use Full Tilt, and with the ability 11, look at his range. His range is very, very awesome. But the one key thing for me is that he doesn't do any damage on his own. So he stunned that mortar right there. He comes back, he'll destroy that mortar if you use his ability twice. Now, with Fellbat in the mix, and Fellbat having a really, really strong duration for his ability, it actually gives me a lot of wiggle room because this is ability is at 4+0. So when you look at that 4+0 ability and a 30-second timer for Bellbat, you can actually go in there and destroy quite a bit of stuff for very, very cheap. And now that we have an Electrical Titan and Scorponok and Fort Max, sky's kind of the limit at this point. How much stuff you can destroy. Now here I'm on a low level base. I know you guys probably want to see a higher level base. We can do that as well. I really thought that I took that Crater Maker off of him. Maybe I did. I probably didn't. So I actually want to show you how he moves without the Crater Maker. The Crater Maker is actually keeping him in place right now. And I'm looking in the chat. Let's see. Alpha Trion 1's looking at which bots have EMP damage. It's a few of them. We can talk about it. Chris Harmon wants to know if he can use Heartburn. So let's take a look. Well, while we're unequipping Crater Maker. So here are some of the combats that you can equip. So I'm looking at, I got Glit, Groundhog, Growl. Kind of look through. Heartburn is actually equipable. So I can actually go do that for you right now, because one of the things that will actually make that worthwhile, is if you can catch this during the stun, you can have an ability that doesn't cause you to be dependent on a combo. You can actually use it yourself, but I think it's probably going to break that ability when you go use it against you use it offensively. So we'll see that works. But at the same time, you can also use it for health reasons, so that'll be good. Saw a comment that says Vertebrake has EMP. No, Vertebrake has EMP, anti-EMP. I'll make it a little bit different. So let's see, if we use Heartburn. Yeah, see, the animations are gonna make it so where you can't actually go in there and use it, but you'll be constantly getting health, but you won't be able to do that in enough time. Actually, the timing is gonna be what messes that up. But what you'll see here is that full tilt starts rushing ahead a little bit when you don't have combat bot installed. So I'm just gonna let it run for a little bit. You'll see, kind of just rushes ahead a little bit. You know, typical characteristics of those scouts. And while I'm doing that, I'll look in the chat. Excuse me, gotta sneeze for a second. See a comment, Pterodactyl has stun. Pterodactyl and Pteraxodon don't stun, they have health reach. Razor Sharp has stun, but he can't equip melee style combat bots. So yeah, that's a good point. So realistically speaking, they say you really only have Heartburn, and we already proved that that's not gonna work in a fast enough time. They say Baru. I see a comment says Baru with the spears. Let's see, we can actually, but that they consider that melee style too. So they kind of limited that to gun combats and also to cassettes and minion types. Robert Jessen Wait says, "Bless you for the sneeze or whatever. I appreciate it." But yeah, I have to agree with Husky here. I really like Crater Maker here. I know Husky just pulled 5-star crater maker. What, about 2 weeks ago now, Husky? And you trying to figure out what to do with them. So yeah, maybe when you go on this event, you go get full tilt from one of the chips. Maybe that'll be a piece for you. It'll work really well. And it kind of gave me an idea, like maybe I should start thinking about, like, a while back ago I did a video and it was called it was all speed team. Maybe I should start making something about maybe all stun team, because when I started looking around at all the different stun bots, I was like, yeah, man, the stun bots are pretty. You got one for everything. You got one for the warrior class. You got some for you get like a lug nut, and later one that you could use for the sack. It's like, well, maybe. Actually, I'm gonna go back for a second, because the one combo that people have really been talking about, I gotta go scroll down here and find them. But with that range, a lot of people were talking about. Let me go to my air class. A lot of people were talking about Thundercracker, and Silverbolt. So let's try that out too. I'll actually try that out. We'll try that in the prime zone. Got a request down there to try out Lugnut and Full Tilt. Yeah, I can do that. Man, we just in here having fun. We just in here just picking around the bot right now. And yeah, I certainly can do that for you, Chris. So here's the thing. That range, that range on Thundercracker really, really, really outpaces that range on Full Tilt. So some of the things you could do, you got to be a little bit more careful about. I'll target the auto cannon right here, just because it's a little bit stronger and it's in Prime League. And you can just watch that thing. It's gonna tear. It's gonna tear that auto cannon completely apart. So we're gonna add. We're gonna add that lug nut, and we'll see what it does. I said I was gonna get back in the game screen. I took myself out of the game screen, never got back in. And Lord Agrippa joined the chat. I missed it. He says, "What's up to my Decepticons and hello Autobots scum." Do special class. We're gonna go in here and we're gonna get Bugnut. Mine's isn't very high level, but we can certainly go in there and see what it does. So let's see. Here we'll use. And the first thing I want to range check everything. So I think the ranges work better with these two bots. So you can actually go in, and as everything's done, just kind of, and I actually did that against a shock tower, so that's a bad idea. I probably just had to let this play out. But I really do like how this combos really well with the Titan. And I think that's gonna be a selling piece. I think it's very, very well timed to go after a bot like this. I actually use Lugnut here against the outpost bot. Magnet. Let's come back in there and shoot him. Takes quite a bit off of his health. Thing is like with damage like that, You know, even with my low level lug nut damage like that. Oh, for him. But that oh, yeah, maybe he's not as low level as I want to run that back though because I feel like I didn't get the combo. Didn't get the combo lug nut. The combo lug nut tilt like I. So we'll go back. This player. I'll go in this time. This time we're lug nut here from target auto cannon. Auto cannon. And I think with the animations, it's gonna be tough to pull off multiple combos back to back to back off of that one lug nut use. Um, but you can certainly, yeah. And that's what I think about that so far. I think it's gonna be a pretty decent, but if I'm being honest, think that I think it does force you to combo almost exclusively. But with the damage, it's hard to argue with that damage. I haven't decided if I'm going to go for this bot yet or not. I mean, I'll go for any endurance bot as a 4-star. I'm not convinced I'm going for it as a 5-star yet, but I might. So I still gotta decide. All right, let's take a look in the chat and see what's going on in there. So Robert Jettison Waite says a slugfest, a good defense bot. Pulled 4-star Queller gun the other day, and he is with the 5-star Armada Megatron and 4-star Impactor defense. Yeah, so you got a couple good. You actually got a lot of good defensive combats there. So to answer your question, yes, Slugfest can definitely be effective. Um, you know, that's Czar for you guys on the Autobot side. Um, just because every 10 seconds you're gonna go wind up getting that orbital strike. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think it works really, really well. Defensively, he's pretty tough bot, decent health. And then with your other combat bots do get up there, Groundhog and Growl, you're gonna be set up really, really nice defensively, bro. So definitely not mad at that. Um, just want to keep in mind that if you're using those bots on for war or anything like that, there are better combat pairing for those bots. So just make sure you're not losing anything offensively by focusing so hard on it. I know you're talking about it's a 5-star slugfest, so yeah. Mercenary Sarah says he wants a 5-star guy hawk. Don't ask why. It's a good bot, man. And now I'm not gonna ask you why about that. It's a good bot. So Professional Husky Gaming has Slugfest on Swindle. At the end of the day, it really depends on what your team needs are. So if your team needs an additional, you know, gunner type combat. I mean, not a gun type combat, but one that has a ranged attack. Yeah, I'm all. All right, so let's see. So while we're already out here on the battlefield, I want to talk a little bit about phase 2 of the HQ18. And so I'm gonna pull up my little list real quick because we talked about it a little bit last week of what was gonna be. I want to make sure I got all my stuff together. So I will pull up that news And so there's gonna be a few things that come to the game. I'm actually on the wrong news right now. Second. Right. So in HQ18, what we're playtesting right now. So we're gonna look at the beam laser is gonna get an upgrade. And keep in mind, this is in playtest. We might change the values for all you guys that like to do screenshots, everything. This is what we're looking at the upgrade being. I hadn't upgraded mine yet, so I'm still going to have to test them out and see how they pair with certain things. And I'm particularly curious about with the beam laser. If I use it with the Tripticon effects, how that's going to work out. I can get this when I get that nice damage boost. But that's what we're looking at for that. The shield generator. This is what I've been waiting for. The shield generator is looking like it's going to be pretty nasty. If this stays this way, it's going to be a build and health upgrade of 9,360. That's going to put it a lot of bots outside of that one-shot kill range, and you also are gonna have some really nice HQ. Well, it's already going to say HQ damage resistance is at 60. I'd actually like to see that bumped up because it looks like it's the same as last time. What they did is they added resistance to the Titan ability, which a lot of people were just using their abilities on the base, going in and knocking out that S-Gen. Well, obviously you can't do that now, and you're not going to be able to do that in the later levels. So, yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at there. See Jackson TV joined the chat, and he's like, "Lugnut 5-star relevant." It can be. And I also see in the chat that Tony B says, "Are we getting more ore for the combiners because we need it?" So two things. The first thing is I agree with you. We do need more ore. We're just not getting it this go around. That is a phase 3, as I understand it from the last time I talked to the apes. That is a phase 3 project. So I'm waiting for that. That is one of the things that I'm saving my ability skips for. We'll see it soon. I mean, it won't be this go around soon, but we'll see it soon enough. And I think with those upgrades to the base, you should be able to hopefully see more ore then. Going back to the conversation about the stun abilities. We got a comment that says, "I think Deathsaurus's ability should be either be stronger or stay at a flat 12." I agree with that. Certainly, I agree with that wholeheartedly. But the apes did say to us that Deathsaurus and Star Saber will be getting some love soon, somewhere within the year. So we'll see what that looks like soon. All right, so let's see. Shock Towers. Shock Towers with phase 2 are going to be going to getting a new level. Shocked. Man, they're gonna have a lot of health. If it stays like this, they're gonna have a lot of health. They're also getting a pretty decent damage boost. So that's gonna be part of phase 2. The laser turret is gonna be part of phase 2. They're getting a pretty decent boost. The damage boost is gonna be pretty good. The build and health boost, I mean, that still puts them in normal one-shot kill range for a lot of different bots. So not too bad. And the last thing that we're gonna get an upgrade on is the build bot. And the biggest thing there is the build bot is gonna get some additional building health. And not sure if the upgrade times are gonna be totally accurate. It's showing 7 days on here. Don't hold me to that. But yeah, man, Bill Bots still be in one shot territory for most because it'll be at 5,880. And yeah. Jackson TV says, is there anything known about uh, ability 11s? So yeah, actually, so there are 3 bots that they're looking at. So right now, my buddy Ramjet is, and this is still in test, so this is not definitive. But what they're looking at right now is giving him a little bit more. They're getting him a little bit of wider range. I mean, not wider range, but they're giving him where his fire is going to be a little bit wider. They're talking about possibly doing like AOE for him. So what I just showed you is not the finished product. Uh, let's see who else did we have up there. So for Blades and Dirge, let's go find Dirge. So we're what we've been discussing, and so this isn't the finalized product either, but what we've been discussing heavily is trying to go give a little bit more uh, damage, and we've been talking about maybe changing the reduction in speed. Um, so definitely nothing written in stone yet. And then the last one is going to be Smasher, and so Skull Smasher, we're looking at potentially having a glass gas effect. So yeah, that would that's kind of what we're looking at there. And I got a question about Ramjet. Says he hasn't got life steal. No, he doesn't have life steal. Let's see. With the ability 11s and with the D1 cores, uh, to be honest with you, the G1 core, so for Ramjet, we're still working on it, but they're talking about reduced damage for a lot of different stuff right now. Uh, like I said, all of this is still in work. We're looking at that just in terms of values. And my dog is in there going haywire. Let's see what else. So we said we had Blades and Dirge. Blades and Dirge one I actually like a lot. We already talked about it. It's gonna have that hack grenade. It's gonna go into play. So that'll be really cool. And then you'll get additional protection. As it stands right now, like I said, none of this is finalized. I really like the Dirge one. Like when they first brought us out the Dirge one, I liked it a lot. I actually liked it better. Everybody knows in the past I've been uh, a real heavy ramjet user, and I was just like, there's nothing you're gonna be able to do to make Ramjet any better than he already is, and I said my piece about it. But yeah, man, that's what we're kind of looking at. Skull Smasher. We're looking at. I hadn't done much with that, but we're looking at a damage. I hadn't really done anything with that, but we're looking at damage increase possibly. Um, and with the glass gas effect, could turn into something really, really special. Um, I just like don't like Warpath and Skull Smasher that much, to be honest, because I feel like it's just a point and click spam ability. So I haven't been as interested in that as I've been in the other bots. That's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, man, that's really everything that we're looking at. As far as playtest right now, I think it's gonna be really, really good overall. Phase 2, the endurance bot with the G1s and ability 11s that are coming out. I think one of the biggest complaints has been that all the G1s and all the ability 11s are going to the new bots, but right now they have 3 of the older bots. They want to go give a little love, so I'm not upset by that at all. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about the 4-star vote. So I'm going to pull those bots back out. I just want to go get the list for my own personal use. I'm actually going to go back into the news. Was it in this week's newsletter? It's this week's. I'm going to go back to this week's. I'm going to go back to the section that talked about bots. So for me, these are the bots they're talking about. So they're talking about Afterbreaker and Flame War. Now I will say, since HQ18 came out, I can't, and I've got a pretty high level Flame War. Can't remember if I have her maxed out or not. My main account. But she's pretty up there, and I cannot circle her around all the way around the base. I can't, not 100% of the time. So maybe it is finally time for us to get that one. I would be okay with that. Broadside and 8 face is cool. I think they need to do a little bit of work with Broadside and 8 faces healing minions, but that's not my first choice. Not this time. Bulkhead and Breakdown Prime, I wouldn't have a difficult time with. You know, he already got a little bit of a buff with the Warrior class rework, so I'd be cool with that. C Clamp I actually like a lot, but I said that's just not what I'm looking for in the next 5-star back. Neither is Cicada Con and Beast War Silverbolt, to be honest. Cybertron, Jetfire, and Starscream, and Cybertron and Starscream, they're pretty good. But I always look at them as like raid bots, and lately I haven't even been using them for that, so I'm not looking there. A lot of people on my server though were looking for Grapple and Dirtbag. So I think that while Dirtbag's very good, Grapple's very good, um, there are so many other bots on this list that I would put ahead of them. But I do understand why, you know, especially with bases getting front loaded again. If you have basically some kind of decoy for everything to attack, then I think that's a pretty good. I'm not opposed to it, but it's kind of middle of the pack for me. Crankcase and Hoist, I like a lot. You'll probably hear from me soon about Crankcase and Hoist. I'll just say that. Inferno and Rodimus Unicronus, I already made a video about, and I still need to make more videos about ranking bots that work well for this meta. But I already went on record as saying that Rodimus Unicronus is probably going to be my pick. I'm going to keep it a band with you. Professional Husky asked why Dirtbag. Dirtbag can absorb, his ability can absorb a lot of damage, and you can use that really effectively on walk teams. Mercenary Terror says that he's mad that Runabout got a 5-star last time because he considers him overpowered. Yeah, I do too. I'll just be honest with you. Let's see. Jetfire, Sky Striker, and Skywarp Night Raven. Those guys had some really, really good DPS for both their normal attack and their normal ability as 4 stars. So I could see them being very, very valuable, if I'm being honest. But I don't see the community going for that. It's just like the ability. The ability makes them invisible. So I was like, I mean, it could be cool, but it's not like there are that many defenses that are attacking you in the air. I mean, if you're using plasma MDS, which I haven't seen a lot of lately, and if you're using, the missile launchers can attack you in, like, almost nobody is using anti-air cores or the laser turrets anymore. So I mean, it's kind of like, all right, well, he's invisible. What is he actually hiding from? Professional Husky makes a good point. He says that Rodimus Unicronus and Inferno won't get a 5-star because the more wider views on rushing tanks. I think that, and I do agree with you, um, to a certain extent. This is a rushing tank that makes everything you do on the battlefield better. You can go and use it for combos with your abilities, and that's the key difference between him and Motor Master, right? The key difference is Motor Master worked really well while you were on the ground. Rod U works really well, period. If you're using your abilities, you're getting the boost. And I think because I actually like him a lot, because what I'm watching in the current meta is I'm watching people start to force combos where I was like, dude, you don't need to use a combo for that. Just walk. And so here it's encouraging you to combo walk. So I was like, if it can find a way to kind of, for lack of a better word, dummy proof the combos, this is a combo. This is the king of combos for me for Rodimus Unicronus. That's going to be my vote. I'm almost 100. I say I'm about 98% decided that's going to be my vote, because that's going to be something that keeps players from forcing silly combos. If I'm being honest. Mirage and Breakdown, I mean, that's cool. You could go with the whole stun thing, but nah, I mean, I'm just not. I'm not impressed by that. I'm also Optimal Optimus and T2 Megatron. Not really overly thrilled about that one. Punch and counter punch, no, not really. Got a shot in Leo Zach. A lot of people could potentially go through for the acid fire and meta and stuff like that. Uh, I still kind of see that as them, and the same thing with Skydive and Skywarp. I kind of see them as like, it's all right. I'm not going to try to force a ranged acid attack when we don't have range. You don't have a ranged combo in most cases that you can use with it. I think they're just kind of okay. Slug and Rampage. I think Just Elite was talking about that earlier. How that could be a piece that you use, guys, to get Slug on the Autobot side, and well, Slug and Rampage 5-star finding piece later on. So yeah, you could be voting for that just to try to go get it and try to complete a 5-star. So that's a reason, because let's be honest, the Space Ape been dropping a lot of hints that 5-star combiners were on the way sooner rather than later. I think it's probably going to be shortly after Phase 3 or along with Phase 3. I think Phase 3, HQ18, can make everything so strong that you need a more 5-star combiner option. But that's just my opinion. I don't know for sure yet. Snapdragon could go into the mix. Rotor Storm and Spinister, I'm actually really, really high on. If they make that into a 5-star, I will not be upset at all. And especially, like, one of the things I actually want to do on one of these videos soon, go and look at Rotor Storm along with Rodimus Unicronus. Spinister with Rodimus Unicronus, and see if we can make something in that. So for you guys want to try to, you Autobots want to make something, if you want to go take Protostorm and Inferno, I think you get a really, really good pairing there. So yeah, Tiger Hawk and Waspinator, I'm not really overly concerned with. Whirl and Sea Phantom. The only reason for me is at some point I feel like Skylar is gonna be in their endurance event. You know, for the when we talking about God Neptune, and when you start talking about Ruination, and I can't think of who the additional bot would be. The last bot is going to be for that, but I think that it might be advantageous to go for World and Sea Phantom for the simple fact that you're going to be begging for this bot later on when it's time to go make this 5-star combiner. If they, or even when you're trying to go make the 4-star combiner, it might make it easier for you. So, but that's what I think about the list. Um, Honestly, I can break it down. There's about 5 or 6, maybe 7 that I look at that I say, hey man, I don't mind if they go get that bot. But my pick is wholeheartedly gonna be Rodimus Unicron and Inferno, if I'm being honest. But we're gonna have more discussions about this for sure, especially as people actually start their voting. So, you know, let me know. I'm actually about to log off, but let me know in the comments who is your pick. Some of you guys in the chat already told me who your picks are gonna be, or you're trying to decide who your picks are gonna be. Let me know. Let me know. But anyways, my plan is to wake up this Saturday and start trying to. I started batch creating a lot of my content, and I got almost the entire ranked series pretty much done. So I'm going to continue working the editing for that. We'll start to see videos come out for that soon. I did put a lot of work into that last week, um, and I still got to continue on with the last couple of phases of Art of War. You guys will be seeing that hopefully really soon. I got a vacation coming up soon, so uh, that might kind of those things in there. But the ranked series is definitely going to. But anyway, I will see you guys next live stream, and hopefully I see a couple of you in these videos as I start to release them out. And I will also see you guys on the battlefield. Freezy is